I hit it.
Right,
ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Episode 8.
Hold on, wait. I thought we were doing the whole rolling in thing.
Oh shit, that's fucked. Rest in peace to that.
Just end it.
No, because then I have to set up a whole new room. Unless
okay,
you want to crop it.
We'll set up a whole new room.
We'll crop it.
No, we'll crop it because I'm not doing that whole thing again. Ready? So wait, how are we doing it, Joel? Are we just gonna
do you want to just roll out of the frame and then just
bro, my head, it looks like it's like something's happening to me.
All right, ready? Get out of there.
No, dumb,
get out
bro.
of there, Fraz. Come on, or this is gonna be more cropping.
Look at my head. It's like there's like magnetics.
Man, just get out of there right now. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, we've been here the whole time. You have not just been staring at a logo. Faraz is still okay. There we go. I thought Monica Lewinsky had his hands on him. Listen, episode 8, baby. Episode 8. We're feeling good. You know, I told the boys that Rocky Bobby's going to be on a little hiatus next week, a little bit of self-care. They're not very happy with me right now. My fellow co-hosts, they want to kill Rocky, but it's all right. Rocky's used to it. What's up? Tell everybody how you're feeling, Joel. Let's start with you.
Dude,
bro.
Fuck off. Restart that shit. What the fuck are you doing, bro?
Put that in the pod. This guy's a clown right now. He's clown showing everything.
What?
End this.
Yo, this is fire. This is going to be like the best intro of all time with all this drama. This guy's yelling at
this is like actually ridiculous. You're actually really pissing me off right now.
Why are these guys so mad, bro?
Dude, what? Restart this. Oh my god.
You guys ready to roll back in?
Don't laugh.
Yo, just fucking do a proper intro.
Fuck the rolling. It just confuses things.
No more rolling? No more rolling?
Okay, no more rolling. Just like give a 3, 2, 1 and then start
right,
it. None of your retarded ass shit.
2 minutes at 2:45. 2:45, that's where you're gonna have to start cutting, okay? Ready? Ladies and gentlemen.
40 seconds?
What?
Are you going to wait for 40 seconds? You said 2:45. It's 2:14 right now.
All right, we're going to give it till 2:55 now.
I'm so confused.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 8 of the Civitas FC podcast. It's been a nice little beginning. As you can see, we've upped our set here. Everybody's rocking the little Civitas logos. Joel, how are you enjoying that pink logo behind you, man?
It's good. I kind of wish you uploaded a little sky blue one for me, but I'm rocking the pink.
It's drippy. Faraz, how are you enjoying yours?
I mean, it matches my shirt, so it works.
That's cute. You're coordinated. Benny, how are you enjoying yours, bro? A little classic Civitas behind you.
Well, Arsenal red. Love it.
Speaking of Arsenal red, so talking about these jerseys.
Let's start with this in the drip session. All right. Well, you guys know about this. This is Arsenal's kit from last year. I think it was last year. Maybe no, it was definitely last year. Xhaka on the back. You know what it is. Got a rep for Albania.
If you don't turn around, I don't believe you.
Trust me, I got mad Xhaka jerseys. I'm not turning around.
I know you showed the other one the other time.
I don't have anything to prove. Xhaka knows he's my GOAT.
Oh, my God.
What you got on, Joel? Well, actually, let's rate mine first. I know this is
0. I'm going to give it a 0.
I'll give it a 9.2 just because I can't see the Xhaka in the back, but
if you turn around, it would have been an 8.2.
Damn, that's crazy. You guys, I'm not gonna whore myself out for a rating. All right, there's a principle. Faraz, what you got on, bro? Looks like you're doing a little derby with me today.
Yeah, I got the Centennial kit for Chelsea, 2005-2006, the second title of a back-to-back under Mourinho. It's the only one that's has all the gold emblems and markings. So, OG.
Very prevalent to what we're going to discuss later in this pod. But
yep,
that's a 9.7. Maybe even
I hate
closer.
Chelsea, but I like that kid. I'm gonna give it like an 8.5.
That's heritage. Anyone on the back of that?
No, it's nobody. I wish I had somebody.
Because that team's full of nobody.
I'll give it a 9.1.
Wow.
Thanks, sir.
I have to keep it under the Arsenal.
Looks like Faraz is gonna sweep it this time, but let's see if Joel's gonna pack some.
Damn, he's already counting me out, bro. That's kind of harsh. I would have gone with the Prem team.
Kingdom of Hearts.
We clearly didn't coordinate it. I got the Scottish team. I don't know if you recognize it, Hearts of Midlothian. I played soccer in Scotland back in high school for like 2 weeks, did a little camp, and so had to cop a jersey from there, and so I copped this one. I liked it.
That's a beautiful story.
All right, yeah, a little beautiful
fire
story.
logo.
I really like
Yeah,
that.
but you never heard of Hearts?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying that fire logo. Of course I heard.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool logo.
Rating?
I'll give you a 7, bro.
Damn,
7.
ouch.
I'll give you an 8.5.
I'll give you a 9.
I'm just trying to show you the array of jerseys I've got on disposal here, guys. I ain't rocking with a simple Arsenal Chelsea. I got a fucking Cambodia jersey I'm gonna show you next week, but we'll see.
Listen, I didn't know you guys were gonna pull up with this type of heat today. I wouldn't become so basic, you know. I just thought no guests, so I thought I'd just, you know, just a little something casual, a little something I go to the supermarket in. Nothing crazy out here.
Oh my god, supermarket, go shopping. Anyway.
All right. So for us, it's a clear winner today. All right, clear winner.
I think so.
What do you have to say to the people, Faraz? How do you feel about this award?
I'm very proud and privileged to take this award home this week. In honor of my club and all the drama that's been happening, which we'll get into. So I can't speak too much on this. Just
Roman,
like says.
come to the table, baby. Let's discuss some future Civitas tokens. We're out here.
Before we get Roman on board, Ben, if you want to walk us through kind of the community, what's been going on, what's going around the grounds right now with Civitas FC.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, if everybody looks at our timeline, we are now in March, and our goal is to get 500 people in the Discord. We are currently around 100, so we have a lot of work to do, and don't want to get too into it. Don't want to share some news quite yet, but we have a lot of stuff planned on how we're really going to boost our community and just get more people involved. Another thing we're trying to do is we're really trying to step up our own game. So we want to relaunch our website. We want to build a concrete structure on how we want people to be contributing and getting what they want out of the community. So we will be doing that in the next few weeks. And another thing I want to note is that, you know, with everything going on in the world right now, we have decided to postpone the FIFA tournament for a few weeks. That's still going to be happening, but we're trying to figure out kind of internally what consoles we want to start out with and how we're actually going to go about doing the tournament, because you know, with everybody having different schedules, we really want to put together a tournament that everybody will be able to participate in and get the most out of it. Besides that, we are going to be continuing with our Champions League predictions and bring on more prediction competitions as well across the various leagues and tournaments happening. So excited for that, but a lot more to come. We have a lot of work to do this month, and yeah, I'm excited for this journey.
No tournament until EA frees Russian clubs and puts them back in the game, baby. The game is for the people. It's not about politics. Bring the Russian clubs back in the game.
That's not the official Civitas statement. We can get into it later.
That is definitely not anything official.
Free Russia.
Differing opinions.
Anyway, we got a cool story going on that's very prevalent with kind of world relations right now. It has to do with Farazi Wazi's favorite football team right now. You prepared a little, information for us. Everyone kind of knows that's in the space what's going on, but if you want to take it away, talk about our man Roman.
Yeah, I mean, I if you're living under a rock and you haven't heard yet, 6 days ago we kind of had one country invade another, and kind of a war broke out. But that led to a lot of different ramifications within both the financial sector and the footballing sector. Roman Abramovich, as you guys know, is the owner of Chelsea Football Club. In 2003, he took over the club for £140 million, which is nothing compared to the price valuation of the club now. So it's representative of how football clubs just constantly increase in value over time. That's the first thing I have to point out. And that's why we're in this business, in addition to our love to it.
Some of them.
Yes. Roman Abramovich had connections to the Kremlin, even though he diluted himself mostly from his connections in the mid 2000s. After he purchased the club, he still is associated with Russia and the Kremlin and the situation going on in the world. And as a result, he's facing the brunt of these sanctions that have been happening amongst the financial world, and particularly the oligarchs that are connected to the Kremlin. As a result, I think he doesn't have any financial flexibility, amongst other things, and the association of Chelsea and the situation and the world situation is kind of making it difficult for the club to operate the way it was and the way it should be. As a result, yesterday or on March 2nd, he came out and put the club on sale. Club's on sale now. I think the valuation of the club is around 3.2 billion pound, $3.2 billion, which is almost 2.4 billion pounds.
Let's get the funds together.
How many Civitas FC tokens is that? Let's do the conversion. Let's put it on the screen.
All I know is that's a lot of tokens. So I don't know who's going to buy the club, but we've heard rumblings about two different prospective owners, particularly one Swedish billionaire called Hans-Jörg Swiss, and then another American. He's going in a consortium model with an American partnership. The guy who owns part ownership of the LA Lakers and LA Dodgers, known as Hans Dorby, I believe.
Faraz, I want to ask you, as a diehard Chelsea fan, what did you think of Abramovich, how he treated the club, how he owned the club in general? How sad are you about the situation? Like, what's going through your head?
Yeah, I mean, I truly, just staying on the pitch and what he did for Chelsea, I can't be more grateful to anybody else. Like, he revolutionized English football, he revolutionized the club, and everything it means to all the supporters. Before Chelsea, before Abramovich, we had only won 12 trophies. Now we have 32. 21 of those trophies came under his direct command.
Yeah.
So
now it's back to Arsenal shadow, right?
You can say that, but he's the one that came in and broke the mold of Man United and Arsenal's dominance, which is the reality of the situation at the time. Arsenal and United were the top two teams in England in world football at the time, and when Abramovich came, he broke that mold. So I can't be any more grateful to anybody else. I really hope he has the opportunity to come back to Stamford Bridge and say goodbye to the fans like it should be, even though I don't think it's going to happen. So, and I think I echo that sentiment for a lot of Chelsea fans throughout the world.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was even seeing like live reactions of people. Everyone. I feel like if you like Chelsea, you're very sad at the situation. I'm ecstatic. I think it's great. As a person, personally. But anyway, Faraz, I want you to touch more on his whole, because Roman Abramovich gave a lot of loans to Chelsea the way a lot of owners operate. They loan out essentially their own funds to the club and then demand that payment back or anything. But Abramovich has come out and said that he is not demanding that $1.5 billion loan that Chelsea have outstanding to him right now. And then what do you think about that? I mean, I think it really encapsulates his love for the game. It's not really about the money necessarily for him.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of it, right? But what do you think about that?
Yeah, so when he first came out and purchased Chelsea, it's not like these transactions, because of the large sum of money involved, it's not just like someone writing a check or a direct deposit into an account. He came out and created a holdings company called Chelsea PLC. And over the years, he himself funded Chelsea PLC, that holdings company, and eventually it took over the club by paying all the lump amount of sum that was required. So because he had that holdings company, which owned essentially the club itself, Chelsea LLC, those two things are interconnected. And as a result, in order to fund certain transfers and certain business transactions, he would essentially loan himself his own money to the club for the club to use for whatever they required, and then that would be out of his own pocket. So throughout these years, if you calculated all the different loans he gave to Chelsea for different transactions, it accounts to almost, I think, 1.4 billion euro or billion pounds.
Wow. I mean, to definitely just write that off, it's like, again, it shows his just.
Yeah, he wrote that up. He wrote that up when he sold the club, when he announced it.
So, but they've also been talking about how he's going to donate. I mean, this is like a big talking point as well. You kind of mentioned, or I mean, it's known that he has, some Ukrainian family, as most, Russians do. But he's going to donate all the net proceeds to the sale of the club to a foundation that he's going to start for, Ukrainian people. But I mean, that's great at face value. It looks like a great, above anything, a PR move. But just great sentiment towards the whole situation going on in the world right now. But what net proceeds would even arise from the sale of the club when he's not demanding any of the debt back? Is what I think is iffy about the whole thing.
I think he's gonna be asking for that money back real soon. the Russian people are really going to suffer under the economic sanctions that are in place right now. So I think it wouldn't be smart of him to make these promises.
The thing is, if you account for all the debt essentially on the club, in addition to the valuation of the club, it goes to 3.6 billion. But because he's taking off that debt, all you have to do is just pay it for the valuation of the club now. So as far as the donations to the Ukrainian Foundation, I'm not sure exactly where that's going to go, because you're telling me a man, of this stature and this amount of wealth is just going to negate £2.5 billion pounds? That's a lot of money.
You didn't get that money from neglecting that type of money, right?
No, exactly.
You got to be a little bit of a shark in that sense.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens, but it's huge, man. It's actually going to be the world record for the highest sale of a football club in history. No other
Guinness,
club
you watching?
Close.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's a world record. That's an official world record from Civitas FC. We gave it to him. Guinness is done in these streets.
Chelsea has been one of only 5 clubs under his command that have won every potential trophy possible out there.
Faraz, do you think he made the right move? Do you think he made the right move doing this?
Yeah, I think he made the right move. I think
he kind of just didn't have a choice.
Yeah,
that's just the reality of things. He didn't want to be selling it.
No, he really. Well, Chelsea was his hobby and his passion, like Joel said. If it's not, there's no way you're just cashing and writing checks, and writing them off as your own, expenses.
Yeah.
Well, this is also not the first time that he's kind of faced scrutiny and tried to sell the club, right? That whole thing with the assassination of some Russian. I don't know exactly what happened back in 2019.
No, yeah.
And he was trying to sell the club then, and then it kind of just matriculated into nothing. I guess now it's like a much more serious topic that he's kind of not directly involved in, but very associated with, his ties with the Kremlin and Putin, etc. But yeah, I mean, the Premier League is definitely going to miss him. Chelsea fans obviously going to miss him. It's a very big kind of transitionary period for just football.
Faraz, is he keeping a minority or anything, or is he selling the entire thing?
No, so like we explained, the whole Chelsea PLC holdings company and him essentially having ownership of both the club and the holdings company.
Yeah.
Fed the club. As a result, he's going to dilute himself of everything. So
everything. Wow. Damn.
Everything. He's not going to have any association with the club anymore. Maybe some of the staff he left over, like Marina Granovskaya, who's our CEO right now, maybe she'll stay on, which apparently some of the potential buyers want her to stay on because they like how she does her business. But we'll see. But I was going to say, when you ask the question, do you think he made the right choice? And Ben mentioned how it was basically forced into this position. I kind of agree with that sentiment, because all the financial regulations placed through world sanctions upon Russia and his association with that kind of has forced him without any flexibility to do anything. So as a result, he has no power to do anything. That money is all frozen essentially.
I understand that part, like from face value, that does make sense. But if he's going to get those 1.52 billion funds right into his account, that's essentially going to be frozen afterwards, right? So
yeah,
was it really that? Was it more financially the reason why he's selling Chelsea right now, or is it more because of his ties to Russia and the Kremlin that he's selling? He's disassociating himself with Chelsea because he loves the club so much. Because financially, it doesn't make so much sense to me, because all those funds are going to hit his Russian bank account. And then it's just going to stay frozen because of the situation going on in the world.
We don't know that.
That's going to go to the Virgin Islands or something, maybe. Yeah. Some offshore.
Hey, shout out to the Virgin Islands. Keep that money safe.
Unless sponsors directly told him, you can't. If you have any association with the club, we're going to pull out. Then that could be one reason. Another reason is, the Premier League could have secretly said something to him, but who knows?
We're seeing the blowback of any Russian associations right now with anything in the sports world, and Arby kind of touched on it at the beginning. But let's kind of talk about that too, because I think it's a good segue, and I think it's a good conversation to have. So again, if you've been living under a rock, the world has taken great measures to disassociate themselves with Russia financially, politically, socially, and socially most regarding sports. Which is pertinent to kind of our whole organization, what we want to talk about. FIFA even announced that they are getting rid of the Russian national team and all Russian clubs on FIFA. No longer allowed to participate in the World Cup. No longer allowed to participate in Europa League, Champions League. UEFA's kind of disassociated themselves with that. Arby, let's start with your take. You think this is the right thing to do? You think it's the wrong thing to do? You think it won't do anything? You think it will do something? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I'm going to speak as not a politician. I'm just going to speak as a fan of the game right now, right? Because that's what we are when we're in Civitas. We're fans of the game. So, UEFA is really big on keeping politics out of football. Xhaka and Shaqiri did the little Bane and Eagle and they scored against Serbia. Boom, hit him with fines. You name it. It became a scandal, right? And then all of a sudden now, because it's Russia, UEFA can do whatever they want, and now all of a sudden they're getting political. They're kicking teams that had nothing to do with this out of tournaments that they fought so hard to get into. The players haven't done anything. There's players that aren't even Russian nationals on those teams. Why do they deserve that? So it's a very complex issue, right? But I think that companies like EA taking Russian teams out of FIFA, it's virtue signaling, plain and simple. That's not helping the Ukrainian people. It's not doing anything for anybody at all. And I think that when the West views somebody as an enemy, Russia, big bad Russia, they're the enemy. They kind of handle things however they want. But, people have been getting bombed for forever. There's bombs in the Middle East, there's bombs in Africa, and we don't see anything about it. Nobody's getting banned for those. But all of a sudden, because it's Russia, boom, hit them with the bans, hit them with the sanctions. It's a very interesting dynamic, and it kind of shows how Western Europe controls and makes you see things the way that they want you to see them.
Ben, as the token Russian of the group, you've been quite quiet on this issue, and the people want to know what you're thinking about this whole situation.
Yeah, I'll start off and say that I hate getting into politics, and because this is a very political discussion, whether it's within the sports world or without. But I definitely have to echo what RB is saying. I think he kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, I completely agree. Like, you should kind of keep it separate, especially if you're going to preach that. I mean, again, like, in terms of the whole situation, like, I have family on both sides of this. It sucks to see. There's not much. It's a tricky situation, but I definitely feel like keeping the sports aspect of this should stay out of it. Like, at the end of the day, the Russian people are also against what's happening. So you can't be hurting people that, aren't involved in this at all. At the end of the day, like, no matter how, whose side you're on or how you're trying to go about it, it ends up hurting one side or the other that shouldn't be hurt at all. So yeah, it's a really tricky situation, but I definitely agree with what RB's saying and the fact that, there's a lot of these things that are in place against Russia that I don't think should be. But at the end of the day, Ukraine is being attacked. Ukraine is being invaded. Like, everything that's going on in support of Ukraine, I'm a big supporter of in the footballing world with what Zinchenko, Yarmolenko, and other players have been standing for. I think that's amazing to see. But again, with all of that, I don't think Russia as a sports team or Russian players should be affected that have absolutely zero to do with the situation.
Faraz, what are your thoughts, Faraz?
To touch on 2 points, one side talking about the politics of it kind of, and then firstly I'm going to start with actually the football part of it. When Rocky says, I don't think Russia should be banned from the World Cup or excluded from European competition, like Spartak Moscow was kicked out of the Europa League when they had to play against Leipzig in the upcoming weeks. For me, if other countries like Poland and Sweden, who were within the qualification for the World Cup with Russia, said they don't want to play, and most of the federation said we don't want to play, what can you do? You can't say, okay, you guys are get forfeited matches and Russia automatically qualifies, right?
Of course, that's their decision.
I know, and there's also some precedent when we talk about this. In 1992, Yugoslavia, the Balkan Wars, they got kicked out of the Euros, and Denmark was their replacement, who ultimately went on to win the Euros, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Cool little story.
Yugoslavia. So there was some precedent here. The only issue with FIFA was they kind of, I think, waited a little bit too long because they wanted more signatures from other federations and more countries to be on board, so they didn't act unilaterally.
First up, yeah.
I blame them on, like, they need to take a stand earlier or not take a stand.
First of all, though, the Yugoslavia situation is way different. Yugoslavia, that was mass genocide going on in Eastern Europe. This is a totally different.
I agree.
This
But
is a
this is
totally
also
different ball game
invading a
right here. So
sovereign
that's what I'm
country.
saying. You know,
Like
this is
this is
more
also
comparative.
invading a sovereign country, though, Rocky. Like let's keep that real.
Yeah,
And
but sovereign countries are being invaded every day, bro, and we're not seeing any.
Yeah, but this is where I want to touch on the political part of it. Like, this is kind of also unprecedented because Russia is a top 10 economy in the world, and we'll get into the economics of it a little bit in a bit. But it's a top 10 economy in the world. It is a nuclear powerhouse, and a lot of other countries who do this are not like that in that situation. So, you know, it's kind of unprecedented in that scenario, and the West kind of need to put a stand on that. Like, I agree with Ben. Sanctioning the people, as my own personal experience coming from Iran, like, I know that doesn't help anybody because it only fortifies the people's will to blame someone else, right? It's not actually affecting the people who are at fault of what's happening.
Yeah.
So I agree with that
Anyway.
as far as attention and stuff. But, you know, there's a lot of ramifications to this all. And I guess we can get into it about the financial side of it.
Let's get into this.
This is a really good, you know, base political discussion. We don't want to get too political on this whole podcast.
No, it's not gonna get political.
That's not the base of it.
Actually,
I think we had a really good discussion about it. I think we can kind of move on to the kind of financial aspect of it, not necessarily like bashing anybody, but especially the kind of crypto relating story about it all. I think it's really interesting. I think the general consensus right now is that, you know, obviously with all these sanctions against Russia and all their banks and, you know, tying up all their assets, it really sheds a light on how universally decentralized cryptocurrencies are, right? Because let's say, you know, all the funds were in Bitcoin or in something like that, these effects wouldn't have, you know, such a great effect on, you know, Russian banks, etc. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's super cool to see, like, I think this is a great use case of crypto that we're finally seeing now. And, you know, it's super cool, like with the crypto fund that Ukraine put in place where anybody can donate money in support of the cause, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum. I think they're doing Polkadot now. There might be a few others now. So it's just super cool to see the use case finally, you know, play out in this real life situation. But yeah, it just perfectly shows how important crypto is, especially when these entities are controlling these financial institutions and people can't go around it other than going with crypto.
Yeah, I mean, just to give more detail to the audience of what Ben's talking about, there's two scenarios in this whole, you know, world situation where cryptocurrency has been key. One is, like Ben mentioned, Ukraine had a fund for relief and donations where people from around the world could essentially airdrop, and that's a term that you'll get used to, but you could airdrop gifts and tokens to the fund. That'll be disseminated and distributed how they see fit or how the government sees fit. However, recently I actually heard the news that the government stopped donations to the fund and is now, I don't know exactly why, but are now transferring to NFTs, which is kind of something interesting. But I don't know how these are going to work. And secondly, like Joel mentioned, all the financial regulations and the controls put on central banks and the removal of Russian banks from the SWIFT network leads to people of Russia and the government using cryptocurrencies to purchase certain assets and eventually turn those cryptocurrencies and assets into, you know, regular currency, which that's the part they're having difficulty with. Because at the end of the day, whenever you want to, you know, purchase goods and services from any other country and import them, you need to convert your cryptocurrency to the traditional currency.
Right now, at least.
Yes, right now.
That progresses
US dollar
in
or
time.
euro. But in the future, I think that'll change, which is key. But you also see some pushback on this because world leaders are realizing how influential crypto can be, bypassing certain sanctions or just being used for different things without any control. That's why they're actually pushing for more regulation. So we'll see what happens in that space. But I'm not a fan of regulation personally when it comes to that.
Agreed.
But I don't know.
It's a big talking point for sure.
This is the big thing. It's like even in dire circumstances, you can always take positives out of something. Like with COVID, you know, it revolutionized remote work and remote study for people. And I think that this is really going to revolutionize the way that crypto is used. And I'm really interested to see like how Russia progresses with it and how the people start especially with their economy tanking right now, how crypto kind of rises, and will it become a main currency? And then the question is, if things stabilize in Russia, when they stabilize, will crypto remain at the top of that once that happens? So this is something really interesting to keep an eye on, and it's huge. And like we've been saying this entire time, the future is right around the corner, man. The future is right there. It's going to be the present like that. So it's important to learn with us, to grow with us, and to really start to understand NFTs, crypto, tokens, everything.
We're living in a very historical time. We're going to look back at this in the next 20, 30 years and be like, wow, like a lot happened, a lot changed, a lot progressed during, this. It seems like forever right now, but, it's going to be this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 year period. And so it's cool that we're building this, and the bulk of this, just another thing to add to the history books, Civitas FC, baby. But yeah, I think we had a.
Your point is, one last point is, I really want to echo that sentiment though, as far as like how crypto is going to stay in the economy of Russia for times to come, but it's being used for as what it's meant to be, financial freedom, and that's key. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
Anyway, moving on. I think we had a pretty good discussion about the times, keeping it political, keeping it up to date, keeping it relevant enough, necessarily political talk. But we're not done talking about Chelsea at all, because we're gonna get into this ball stuff, baby. And arguably the biggest game of the weekend, to Faraz's sadness, was this EFL Cup final. Not many people like it that much or take care about it that much, but the final's a final, no matter where you're playing it, no matter what it is. If you were also living under a rock, Chelsea lost to Liverpool at Wembley in penalties, going to the 11th penalty, with Kepa missing in astounding fashion. Anyway, this game was chalked up as one of the best 0-0 games to ever be played. Had everything, missed chances, like open goals, missed open goals, goals ruled off for offside that weren't even offsides. Faraz, how were your feel? I feel like it was an emotional roller coaster for you watching this game.
Throughout the game, it was tough, man. I can't lie. I was screaming up and down. I was getting complaints from different people in the house. Stop yelling.
I wish I was watching with you, man.
Man, it was a scene. But in hindsight, having a couple of days to reflect on what happened, I don't feel as bad as I did initially, because what happened was, I think both teams competed in a great fashion. There was a lot of chances. Liverpool should have scored. Chelsea should have scored. Liverpool did score, got called off. I mean, we'll get into that, but
the Van Dijk infringement.
Matip goal.
Yeah.
Matip's header. But at the end of the day, if you're blaming a goalkeeper for a missed penalty as the reason why you didn't win the game, you need to get your head checked. That's not a valid reason to blame someone, because goalkeepers shouldn't be even taking penalties in the first place. It was such a rare case. This even came out to 11 to 10 penalties.
I think people are blaming him because Kepa's like the PK GOAT. That's kind of what he's built himself out to be at Chelsea. So people are probably
just PK GOAT of saving, which you can blame him for. You can blame Tuchel for subbing him on in replace of Mendy, who had a great game.
One of the best games of his Chelsea career, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's a 50-50 thing, though, because Kepa in those situations has stepped up before. So according to,
Tuchel's... statistically, Kepa's better. And that, if you look at it, the statistics prove that Kepa's a better penalty saver. Yeah. And I kind of agree with the decision, but at the end of the day, when you don't save any and you have to take one, you can't blame him for missing it.
It would have been a much different sentiment had he, let's say, saved 3 or 4 penalties, but they still were level, and he still had to take a pen, and let's say he missed it, right?
Yeah.
Then would it be like, damn, that's, you did your thing, that's on us, we should have done better, or necessarily, but he didn't. He missed every penalty. I think he dived right, maybe twice or 3 times out of the 11 penalties. Yeah. And then his opposite number, Keller, put it top bins, or not really top bins, but he smashed a penalty. So it just added pressure that you got to make the penalty as the goalkeeper to keep your side in. I thought it was a beautiful, just, comparison to 2019 League Cup, the whole thing with Mauricio Sarri, where he didn't want to get subbed off, even though they were going to try to put Willy Caballero in, who was a more experienced penalty saver at the time. It's just kind of a full circle, beautiful story, in my opinion. I think it's hilarious. But not anyone can win the EFL Cup 4 times in a row, baby. It's not possible.
Please,
full circle L. This man's flexing tin pot trophies out here. Man. Get this guy out of here.
Oh my God, you gotta flex something once in a while. Anyway, it was a great game. I actually didn't get to watch the whole thing. I had to rewatch the game after, because I was out skiing. But I was watching the game on my phone. I even had commentary in my earphones, and I was hearing it all. So it was a lot of fun.
The biggest travesty of it all is probably, as far as the penalty shootout, is the fact that our captain chose to take the second penalty. I believe Jorginho decided to take the second penalty, and if you look at the statistics, Joel's the one who always preaches this. Taking the first penalty, you're always are more likely to win. because you put the pressure on the second taker. And we won
Interesting.
the coin toss, and we chose to take it second, which I don't understand.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would choose first every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely.
Though, did you see what did you think of the Matip situation and the Lukaku? Do you think the referees got it right or wrong?
Like the thing was with VAR, it's like it is right. It is correct, right? And we'll get into a decision that was not correct using VAR later on. But like the decision was correct. It's just like at that point, and I remember Arby and I have even talked about this. It's like, are you even gaining an advantage in the slightest bit for how marginally he was offside? Like the guy was pointing his arm in the direction that he wanted. I just dropped something that he wanted the ball, right? Like his shoulder was like barely offside. Like that
Stupid,
just gets
so
it's
stupid.
granular at that point. It just ruins the game.
It's destroying the game. It doesn't make sense. The offside rule, the spirit of the offside rule is so people don't sit and cherry pick goals. All right, my centimeters off. It's ridiculous. If the human eye can't see it, don't call it. You're gonna destroy the game. It's pointless, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, then there's also a Liverpool game goal ruled out, for a Van Dijk infringement. I think kind of rightfully so. When you have a corner, a lot of bodies just kind of hit and collapse together. But kind of all in all, again, it was a great game. It had everything, like I said. Mason Mount missed open goals that whole game. I thought it was great to see at the end of the day. But Liverpool League Cup champions en route for the quadruple, kind of fuck those claims.
Van Dijk, shout out to Van Dijk though. That PK he took was ice cold, staring him down out.
Kept trying to play mind games, was having none of it.
Van Dijk,
all the penalties were great, or not all of them, but most of them were class penalties.
I
was shocked.
I just love when someone puts a zest on the keeper after, like, yeah, I did that to you. You sit there and enjoy that, that's real.
I thought the Matip goal ruled out was kind of soft though, even as a Chelsea fan. Like I was like, wow, I'm really glad that was just called off.
Yeah, had that happened to you, you would have been human. Absolutely fuming. Absolutely fuming. Anyway, we got a lot of other games to talk about. Again, shout out to Liverpool League Cup champions 2022. We touched on this last pod, and Arby had said that if Barcelona go on to beat Napoli and then they go on to beat Bilbao, then maybe he'll entertain the fact that they're back. Well, baby, they smashed Napoli. They smashed Bilbao. Are they back?
Barca's back, baby. Firing on all cylinders. I said it. I'll stand by it. They're back. I think that's
his word. People gotta appreciate it.
Xavi, big time right now. It's all about getting that momentum going, especially with a new manager. Sometimes you'll even see as soon as the team sacks the manager and the new guy comes in, everyone's playing their hardest. Everyone's really going. So that's why
everything
took them a little bit to cook it up. Barca's back on track.
Well, it's also not your average person coming back to Barca. It's Xavi Hernandez, right? Like arguably one of the greatest Barca legends to ever step foot in the Camp Nou. But anyway, the game against Napoli was a great game. Finished 4-2 for the Blaugrana. De Jong scored a fucking peach of a goal. It was amazing to see. Aubameyang now has 4 goals in his last 4 matches for Barcelona. Arsenal feeling a little sorry. Are they, Ben, or nah?
Hey, I mean, I'm a Barcelona fan too, so I love to see it. And he was done. Arteta said, this guy is out of here. Now he's balling out in Barcelona. Couldn't be better for him. Like, I'm happy.
Definitely a cultural decision there, him to leave Arsenal, kind of not meshing well.
Napoli's shambolic, by the way. Let me just talk about Napoli. And the Serie A in general has not been having the best showings in Europe recently, bar Juventus, who've made it to 2 finals in recent years. And then Inter made to Europa League final, which was still an embarrassing game in my opinion. But Italy really has got to step it up in Europe. The league has a lot of class. I think managers like Spalletti really have like a level, and it's like a strict glass ceiling almost. They can break it, but they just don't. Spalletti in Europe is atrocious, so I don't know. It's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, as top of the Serie A, like you got to be performing better in Europe. Crazy.
Serie A race has been the most exciting it's been in years, but I do agree in Europe they're just not having it recently. And
I saw some breaking news when we talk about Barca, though. Ronald Koeman came out with a big statement today. I don't know if you guys saw.
I did not. Tell me.
Yeah, he bashed Laporta, said that he told me that Xavi was not coming back as the manager. He said that I didn't get enough time. He even blamed the situation with Messi on Laporta, said, I don't even know why Messi left. There was something going on there. He said that I'm not going to be coming back to the Camp Nou anytime soon. I need some time to heal.
Who invited this guy to the Camp Nou?
He was kind of blaming his own downfalls on the club and the players, even though the players were at fault for a bit.
Yeah.
And so was the hierarchy. But this guy, he also had major problems.
He had a lot of problems. Like when you're in charge of any team, like a lot of it runs through you. He needs to just stick with his career at the Camp Nou. He had a legendary career, second all-time highest goal scorer as a defender in La Liga. Shout out to Sergio Ramos, who I think beat that record. But anyway, he needs to stop crying. He needs to just calm down and find another job.
It's smart to stop crying because the fans are going to start hating you, and you already suck as a manager. So just keep what you had as a player going. Like, don't
exactly. You didn't see Lampard like crying when he was getting sacked by Chelsea. You know, he kind of took it on the chin, and now he's back at Everton. We're probably going to get relegated anyway, though. We'll get to Everton now because that's a great segue into another really, big game of the weekend. Probably the most controversial refereeing decision that happened. Probably maybe this season. I don't even know. Everton, Man City, 1-0 win thanks to an 82nd minute goal by Phil Foden. But the controversial moment of the match obviously was that Rodri. Very blatant handball in the box in the 84th, 85th minute. Again, I was listening to this game. I didn't get to watch it, but I was listening to it all, and I was freaking out. I didn't get to see the pictures until after I literally got home, and I was like, how did they not call that? Faraz, I want you to speak to it because I know that just grinds your gears.
I mean, yeah, there's not much to say except that was an awful call. It was completely the wrong decision. The PGMOL came out a day later and even apologized to the club, which first of all, I don't. Those apologies they can go, throw in the trash because what's the point of them when you've cost a team 3 points, you've potentially given Man City the opportunity to win the title off of that decision, and you've gave him everybody else has lost momentum because of it. Like it has so many different ramifications of how bad of a decision it was. I think in general the use of VAR kind of needs to change. This discussion that needs to be had. I think so. I was listening to a couple of different podcasts, and they mentioned how referees have the ability to tell the guy watching the monitor, "Can I take another look? I was in a bad position. Can I have the opportunity to take another look?" They have that ability, but not a lot of them take it. Whether that's for ego or to protect themselves, or they just trust too much into the guy watching the monitor. I don't know which one it is, but it's one of these situations. So I think VAR needs a little bit of change or even more education on how it can be implemented.
It's a little bittersweet because, like, obviously as a City fan, like I was happy that, we won that game. But it's like if we go on to, hopefully win the title and everything, like if that's how we're remembered for winning it, right? Like we were remembered in 2019, 2020, or I might get the years mixed up. But when John Stones cleared the ball with like a centimeter off the line, like that's a miraculous one-stop moment for winning the league. But something like this, like a very controversial call, it's like not the way you want to necessarily do it. And I would have much rather been a penalty and Ederson saved that shit, but I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
Oh my God.
Well, we don't know is Inter's going to win the league.
I got the Serie A heating up, title races and everything. But I want to stick to the Prem for one more talking point. Speaking as a proud American, we have the third ever manager in the Premier League as an American, Jesse Marsch, appointed as Leeds United head coach after Marcelo Bielsa got sacked. Faraz, I know you're a massive Bielsa head. You think it's too premature?
No way this guy's a Bielsa head. I hate Bielsa head.
Why do you hate Bielsa? He's revolutionary. He was everybody thought he was.
Here we go.
Everybody thought he was the hippie style, philosophy of a manager until it became the norm. Now,
what has this guy done
for the game? If you look at all the managers in world football, a lot of them have driven inspiration from Bielsa.
He sounds like another Ragnick.
No, he's not a Ragnick.
Sucks too.
Yes, if you look at
sucks too, by the way.
And he's been a manager his whole life. And you need to look at his backstory. Like, you can't compare those two people, first of all.
Listen, all I know is that this guy's a serial loser, loses wherever he goes. Somehow people idolize him. I don't like losers.
Yeah, first of all, you got to compare what he had versus the competition and where he was. Like, he's never been at Barcelona and failed. Okay?
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why has he never been at Barcelona? If he's such a revolutionary, crazy good man, like, why hasn't he ever had a big club?
I don't know. I mean, you got to ask the people. Like, I can't. If I was Civitas FC's director, which we will be, I'll hire him.
I would veto that. I would.
Oh my God! This is a clear example of what would be put up to a vote if we hire a general manager. Would you want Bielsa in or would you want Bielsa out? I hope we even get to that point to decide that. That would be pretty.
No, but for us,
what you'll appreciate though. Let me just say this. What you'll appreciate though is he encapsulates and draws all the hearts of the fans. Like even if they lost another 3 or 4 games in a row, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, they'd still be supporting him.
He does. I don't know how he does it, but he does.
I know, but I think it's primarily because of the style of football he plays. Yeah, his ideology of defense needs to completely be changed because that just does not work. Man-to-man defense against high intensity teams, that just doesn't work. So I personally love him. I hope he gets another job. I hope Leeds stay in the Premier League. They're too big of a club to go down.
He was a Leeds legend, finally bringing them back to the Premier League since the first time in like 2003. So he'll never be forgotten for that since. But yeah, Ben, what do you think about another American manager in the league? Do you remember any of the other ones? Oh man, Bob Bradley, who was in charge of Swansea.
Who did he even coach? I remember Bob Bradley.
He coached Swansea for a very long period of about 3 months until he got the move. And then there was actually another U.S. manager that I did not know before. His name is David Wagner, who coached Huddersfield and actually got them promoted in 2017, or not 2017, but got them promoted and then was left mutual consent in 2019. So it's just good to see the progression of Americans in the game. Get a Ted Lasso in there.
You forgot Ted Lasso. That's what I was about to say.
Exactly. Get a little influence going. Believe, baby. That's all I'm going to say. Believe. Anyway, moving on to kind of quick little hits because there were a lot of games. There are always a lot of games. That's what we always have endless stuff to talk about. I want to talk about briefly, hilariously, Spurs getting knocked out of the FA Cup by Middlesbrough 1-0. It's yet another trophyless season for Spurs for the 5,489th year in a row. Ben, you happy with that?
Joke of a club, absolutely joke of a club. I don't know what's going on there. It does not make sense. They have world-class players. They just spent so much in January. I don't know what's going on. What do you guys think? How could a team like that just be failing? Like some internal issues must be going on.
They need to restructure. Those guys have been there too long. They haven't done shit. It's the players. It's deep in the culture. It's like you can't blame Mourinho. You can't blame every single manager that walks in. Like eventually, look at the players.
Get Daniel Levy out of there.
I don't think it's Levy's fault necessarily, but the players.
Who is there?
Fun fact: Mikel Arteta signed for Arsenal, became captain of Arsenal, won the FA Cup as captain of Arsenal.
Yeah.
Retired, won 5 trophies as assistant manager of Man City, became Arsenal manager, won the FA Cup, and all this time Spurs have not won anything. They've been in a couple finals. Let's get them that Champions League final. Like good for them. And Poch, this Poch is saving grace.
Yeah.
But
did you guys watch Did you guys watch the Spurs doc, The All or Nothing?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. I watched that just for Mourinho. Okay. And what I noticed though, who are the locker room leaders on that team? Harry Kane is like a mute. Can people even understand this guy when he talks with that weird muddled accent that he has? Like, there's no one inspirational in that locker room, and I think that's the issue. And when you have a manager like Mourinho and you can't even get him out of there, like, come on, Conte, Mourinho, these guys are like supposed to inspire, and they can't even do it.
It's so funny that you mentioned that because Faraz and I were literally talking yesterday how Lloris is washed, first of all, but he's the captain of that team. And during that documentary, when he was like trying to give team talks in his French accent, I was dying laughing. Like, I don't know how anyone takes him seriously. Like, maybe for France, he gives very motivational ones because they're all French. They all speak French. But in English, he's like, come on, guys. Let's win the game. Let's win the game. And then they go and lose because he drops the ball in like the 95th minute. So, like, you have no motivation for that. Anyway, moving on. There were a lot of FA Cup action. Big teams usually going through, like Middlesbrough against Spurs. Well, there was also a great draw 0-0 in the Premier League. Watford against United. Didn't get to watch that game, but watched the highlights. United, they created a lot of chances, man. I think they kind of got unlucky with that one. Foster had a really good game. Are United going to finish top 4, guys, or are we going to give it to the boys that RB are repping right now?
United's finishing top 4.
Arsenal top 4, 100%. Get United out of there.
It's not going to happen. Cristiano Ronaldo is taking the Champions League. He's going to drag him to the Champions League.
I don't think Spurs are going to do it anymore.
My loyalty to Conte wants to make me say Conte and Spurs, but I think Arsenal are the only team that have a semblance of continuity and are showing actually some sort of like form.
I don't know. I think Arsenal can break down at any minute, though. I think Arsenal can break down at any minute, and when they do, it's going to be like this. They're going to plummet.
Ben, how do you
That's
feel,
what I'm scared of.
How do you feel when I first met you? You're getting mad that Wenger kept finishing 4th. You're like, man, 4th place sucks. And now you're here jumping for joy that you might have the glimpse of finishing in 4th. How times have changed. It's fantastic.
If we're back in the Champions League, I'll be so happy.
Moving on to outside of England, we had some Coppa Italia action too. I'm going to leave it to my Serie A heads here. Who's winning the Coppa Italia? We had a pretty boring 0-0 draw for the Milan derby. I think that's funny that aggregate goals still count when they're playing in the exact same stadium. But you guys watch that game?
Yeah, I was
wish I didn't.
Snooze
I wish I
fest.
didn't. Atrocious
I can't.
football.
Seriously though, dude, like I know Arby's with me. It was an actual snooze fest. Nobody did anything. I don't
Oh
know if
my
they were
God.
tired from both of their draws against inferior opponents on Friday. They had a double. Serie A had a doubleheader on Friday. Both of those teams got draws against inferior opponents.
Yeah.
Lost some points. That's why Napoli's first in the league right now. Then they play each other midweek. Should have been a great Derby della Madonnina. Awful, absolutely awful.
Man, unwatch. Listen, Inter right now is absolutely unwatchable, and the issue is like one, we don't.
You were
have
just
space
calling them Serie A champions like 5 seconds ago. Now
I didn't.
all happened.
Faraz called them Serie A champions,
That's
but
true,
I think
that's
they will. Hold on, I think they can regain balance. I think with Correa comes back as Gosens gets maybe okay, but that's not even the point. The point right now is that these guys are anger-inducing. I don't like watching them anymore. I don't want to see them on my screen right now because they started the season and gave me hope. And they play beautiful football, but I don't give a shit about beautiful football. I want results, man. And we've gotten 7 games in a row with no wins and 4 in a row with no goals. All right,
You heard it here,
no goals.
ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
crazy.
RB relinquishing his ties to Inter.
I told you
I'm
guys
relinquishing
he's
him.
gonna
I'm
choke
here. I'm here. I'm just mad, and I'm not having fun right now. It ain't
Inzaghi,
fun.
listen to the podcast so you can talk with our boy about what's going on. And the other leg of that Coppa Italia, we had Juventus beating Fiorentina, sliding past them. Vlahovic playing against his former club for the first time. Let's not get into that because it was honestly a very boring tie. More west, we got the Spanish Copa del Rey semifinal, first time without any of the big three, Barca, Atletico, and Madrid in the semifinals, with Betis playing against Valencia in the final,
time
April
ever?
23rd. I'm not ever,
Oh,
probably not
In a
ever, but in
while.
my recent
last
memory,
year.
all 4 of them not in the semis.
No, I don't know if in the semis, but last year it was a Basque derby.
Oh, I know that, but I'm pretty sure Madrid and Barca were in the semis, both of them.
I mean, we'll see.
So I think it's
maybe they
first
have
time.
been every single year since the existence.
I think
of
at
the
least one of them since I even started watching soccer, but
They have to be,
football,
right? Like,
football, whatever you want to call it.
I think
Around the
Valencia's
grounds,
got to take it though. They've been in back-to-back finals and they've lost. So I think this is the 3rd time in a row, and I think they'll do it. Even though I think Betis is a better side, I think Valencia has the momentum.
Valencia hasn't been in back-to-back finals, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Bilbao?
I mean, they were in last year's.
No, it was.
There was
you
2
said it was
last
the back.
year. Remember, there was 2
Oh
last year.
yeah, that was weird.
Why? Why was there 2?
Because of COVID, they postponed.
Yeah,
One of
Bilbao,
them was the Basque derby.
but Bilbao played like 2 within a month of each other.
Yeah,
They
they
lost
played
both.
against Sociedad and then they played against Valencia.
Yeah, hilarious.
Bunch
For
of chokers.
our Bilbao fans. Anyway, let's move on to the French League. Shout out to Hugo Lloris again. It was a pretty exciting show. The Messi Mbappe show. Messi registering 2 assists, Mbappe scoring 2 goals. Are they going to do it next Wednesday in Madrid? Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they will.
As
I
Arby
don't
shakes
think
his head.
Real Madrid are performing that well right now. It would be embarrassing if PSG lose this. It
They
would
got
be
the-
super embarrassing.
They got the 1-0 win, no aggregate, remember. But you cannot finalize your say on that because our prediction's close for the round of 16 of Champions League. But if they go through, then you can vote on that for the quarterfinals. Arby, you got something to say about it?
I got something to say, baby. Real Madrid,
Say it.
that's Champions League heritage right there. 13 UCLs. All right, that's Champions League heritage. PSG 0 UCLs. And at the end of the day, something that you notice is that heritage in these moments. That's what matters. Are these players used to winning? And I can see PSG collapsing at the Bernabeu. So it's going to be very interesting.
The one thing that can help PSG collapse is that 50 million per year contract offer that PSG has offered Mbappe.
Also, don't forget,
ludicrous money. Ludicrous.
don't forget, Lionel Messi does not perform away Champions League games. He does not. That guy's going to be just another guy. He's going to be a pile of sticks out there.
fraud.
I disagree. When he goes to the
I completely
Bernabeu,
disagree.
he kills it.
Fraud.
But this is away Champions League. You know, the curses, they counteract each other with Messi. Boom here, boom here. I think the overall curse,
We'll see.
away Champions League, Messi cooked. Done.
We'll
Doesn't
see
matter where.
how it goes. Really excited for that Champions League second legs returning.
Real Madrid
Other than that,
gets-
let's bring it across the pond, across the Atlantic. We got the MLS returning. I don't know if anyone watched the game,
Nobody
but
cares,
always
bro.
good to shout out the American leagues. MLS is up and
I
coming,
watched
man.
the
You
game.
gotta support. I watched Seattle's game, and then I was following also,
Only
Vela's
only
hat
way I'm gonna
trick,
start watching
everything
MLS
like that.
is if we buy an MLS team. All
I
right.
Yeah.
watched Portland
Only way
versus
I
New
watch.
England. It was a great game.
Faraz and I actually, we're going to tell you guys, we're driving up to Austin on Sunday and watching Austin versus Miami. Trying to get some cool content to show you guys for that in Civitas. So we'll see. Awesome. Hopefully, it'll be a good game.
Yeah, new stadium, new franchises, both of them. So I'm excited to see them.
Matthew McConaughey, if you're watching this, I want a picture.
Austin FC have a New England guy, Diego Fagundes, leading the lines.
Oh my God, that clown, bro, that bozo.
Get him on the pod.
Diego Fagundes. If you're watching this, come on the pod, bro. Like I've watched you my whole life. Like I've just seen your name around. I've never like enjoyed watching you. You've just been around New England for so long. But come on the pod. Why not? Let's talk.
Anyway, there's obviously more games we could talk about, but that kind of sums up just the games around the grounds. Again, always love chatting ball stuff with you boys. We had everything this pod, honestly. Politics, financial talk, crypto talk, obviously, ball stuff, Civitas updates. Anything else you want to leave with the people in terms of Civitas and community updates before we kind of hop off?
No, just crazy. It's like we went from being COVID experts, now we're Ukrainian experts. It's wild.
Learning every day,
experts
baby.
All over.
Please follow us on socials, guys. We need your support. Join our Discords. Look at the website. There's a lot more content coming in the following weeks. Just keep an eye out and hit that like, subscribe button, anything you can.
Again, take a look at Faraz's new blog about Derby County and their
that'll be up by the end of this on Friday. Actually,
it's
tomorrow.
It's been 9 years, fam. This guy every episode for the.
I also want to reiterate, that if you have any questions about the structure or what we're trying to do or anything about it, please reach out to us. Reach out to us in the Discord. I've had a lot of conversations with people recently, just like texting and getting into huge monologues. But we'd love to share everyone's questions with everybody else, so everyone can learn at the same time. So either message us on social or, in the Discord would honestly be the best place if you want to talk, just in the general talk section. So everyone can kind of see. There are no stupid questions, except for stupid questions. But that's I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Be stupid, then I can laugh. We'll enjoy together.
I'm joking.
The power to the people. That's all I'll say.
Ooh.
100%.
Freedom.
Stay tuned. We're
Let
really
freedom
going to be
ring.
up.
All right, boys. Well, it's been a
All right.
pleasure.
Everybody out there, stay safe, especially in Eastern Europe.
Stay safe.
Salute.
I love.